how 3 of those guys are gone. So who's going to step into the places for this Richmond team?
Yeah, those 4. Dalton Young with 75 points, and it was a balanced 75, 60, 36, and 39. And then Luke Graham and Lance Madonna, they were great as well. But they have their returning second scorer in Aiden O'Neill. He's got to be the one now.
Yeah, and he's only a junior, so theoretically 2 more years of Aiden O'Neill. That's a good thing for Richmond to have going for itself right now. And to see the kind of impact he had last year as just a sophomore, that has to be a good feeling for Chamati's squad.
For Maryland, 2 newcomers on the offensive end in the starting lineup, Matthew Keegan and Bryce Ford.
Yeah, there is a ton of hype, especially around Bryce Ford. He's going to be playing in the midfield today, but when he was playing in the attack at Fairfield, had kind of an injury-riddled 5th year over there, but a 50-point score for 2 straight years at that level is just absurd stuff. So to see him in the starting lineup here is a good sign for him.
You can see on your screen number 25, the inverse of 52. It's Shea Keithler, who's going to be the go-to guy for faceoffs this season for Maryland. This is just an unbelievable stat comparing 2 seniors.
Yeah, we made the joke earlier how this is kind of like one of those maybe joke graphics you see in the NBA, but no, this is a serious graphic we have to show the disparity in experience, the face-off dot here.
So we are just about set to go here from College Park. Shea Keithler from Maryland. It's actually DeCenso for Richmond, and Keithler will win the faceoff. Keithler is down the near side and somehow trying to keep this in. It goes out of play. Who's got it? Maryland. So 1 for 1 for Shea Keithler. Again, he only took 35 faceoffs in his career up to this point. So this is Matthew Keegan. First look at him in a Maryland uniform. He's going to turn to his right and give it off to Zach Whittier into the starting lineup. He was a familiar face for Maryland off the bench, but clearly a bigger role expected this year. Bryce Ford gets it back to Keegan near side. This is Whittier. Whittier finds Keegan. Doesn't like what he sees. He's got to back up. He will swing it over for Bryce Ford. Ford is going to turn, find Erks up top. Near side Keegan. Maryland still has time to work with. 35 seconds on the shot clock. This is Spanos from behind. He's got to pass it up top, Erksa. Near side Whittier dropped it. And he still cannot get control. He's pushed over. Zach Whittier trying his best to recover the ground ball. That's great defense on him by Mitchell Dunham. And it's going to stay with Maryland here after the whistle. I think that's a fresh 60 on the shot clock too.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Richmond. Such great rotations for the Spiders on that first possession, but now got to go even longer.
This is Eric Spanos. Behind the goal it goes for Matthew Keegan. Keegan coming to the front. Now he's got to pass it back. Spanos around the far side. He will give it up. Up top for Erksa. Near side Whittier, down low. It's Keegan turning, shot deflected, and it goes into the stick of Vigu. That's a good first possession for this Richmond defense.
A couple times you had that shorty matchup behind the goal with Eric Spanos, and who else but the guy we highlighted in the open. Pilling did a great job on that possession, rotating and keeping him from getting topside.
So Pilling is going to give it off to Joe Sheridan. 7 goals, 4 assists last year for him. Henry Alpaw. Alpaw going to take it himself and push it wide. It's going to stay with Richmond, backed up by Aiden O'Neill, a guy whose name we're going to be saying a lot of today. So O'Neill will bring it in. Off to Sheridan. Up top it goes for the freshman Daniel Pickard. Pickard backs up, passes up top. That's physical defense, ball knocked away. That's A.J. Larkin, the former Loyola Don. Is he going to take a big step up this year?
Last year was really his coming out party, and you expect even more from him this year.
O'Neal, covered by Will Schaller. He's got to give it up. Merklinger gets it to Alpaul. 10 seconds. Richmond's got to go now. Alpaul just trying to find a bit of space. Passes it off. Shot at the buzzer goes wide. That is great defense by Maryland. Joe Sheridan had that last look.
And on that possession, Tyler, Zach Gorno, one of the transfers on the short stick defensive side for Maryland, got beat. But Kohler, another short stick, did a great job of coming into the slide and picking him up, and that forced a bad shot for Richmond.
And that was A.J. Larkin. You could just see on that replay, making things difficult. Pushing the pace here with it is Elijah Stoneball. He will give it up to Daniel Kelly. The Terps' leading goal scorer 2 years ago. He got to 30. Other than that, he's kind of had a reduced role. Not this year, though. Stoneball. Low pass. This is Jack Schultz. First freshman that we see for Maryland. Schultz dancing around, physical defense on him by Charlie Packard. Urksa over for Matt Keegan. Keegan into the middle, it's Kelly turning, saved. Vignew got enough to it. Behind it goes, backed up by the Terps. Here's Urksa. Far side it goes for Noah Armitage. This is Stoneball. Stoneball working his way down low, and the pass is going to get away. Richmond's defense with another stop. Take another look at the save by Vignew. Again, Ben, just a matter of getting enough to it. That certainly was the case there.
And with those possessions, Richmond had a body around the ball at all times.
Lucas Slate with a nice move. Richmond wants to get him back. Give Richmond strike first. Good defense there by Peter Lake, another freshman. This goes to the far side. Olsen near side, a bouncer will just be pushed wide by Evan O'Neal.
That's the right idea from O'Neal. Try to bounce it on the turf just a little bit too early in his placement.
Here's his brother Aiden to the front. Just excellent defense, but he turns, finds enough room from Schaller to shoot, and it goes wide. Still tied at 0. It's been a defensive showing thus far. And Rialpa, far side. He's going to cut inside. It's just not much room. Good Slate. Behind it goes. Turning around is Creo, and he has to go. It goes over and out. But it's going to stay with the Spiders. It's a rock fight so far, Ben.
It sure is. And that's how Richmond just has to dump this one away. Just that's how good the defense has been so far. Got a couple of situations where the shot clock has winded down on both these teams, really. And a couple of good looks there for Richmond, but nothing to budge yet.
Well, Ben, so many new faces on both of these offenses. You wonder if that plays a part. Guys just getting that chemistry up here early in the season.
Yeah, I think it does. And I think in years past we've seen Maryland maybe lull a little bit in the early part of the season offensively, not sure who the go-to guys is or where the chemistry is being built. You saw toward the latter part of last year in the tournament, Maryland was playing its best ball offensively.
Forward near side, it's Keegan. The transfers connect to give Maryland their first goal.
That's a thing of beauty right there to have two transfers. We talk about having some of these new guys, how are they going to mesh together? And Ford, a guy that people are very high on out of Fairfield. This is a great pass to find him across the seam right here. A couple defenders reach the stick out, but that's just too much room for Keegan. Very talented player and great placement on the shot to go low. Biggie's a tough one to get it by, and you got to go low.
Another face-off won by Shea Keithler. He's going to take it himself and push it wide. Spanos is right there. Will stay with the Terps. So far, so good for Keithler. It's a big question mark coming into the season. He avoids Jared Genoy. And he's going to work right now on Anthony DeCenzo. DeCenzo, by the way, still has more than double the amount of faceoffs that Keithler does. 77 now to Keithler's 37.
Have to keep in mind, Keithler's a senior. He was going against Weirman in practice every day for years now.
Right. Pass behind. Pulled the goalie out, but Vigue retreats to his spot. That's directing traffic. Urksa was there for a second, didn't find him. Still Spanos behind X. Can somebody get free for him? Spanos says enough of that. And he's going to run to his right. 25 on the shot clock here for the Terps. Trying to take a 2-goal lead. Bryce Ford, tough shot. It's deflected before it got there. I think he hit his own man. I think Spanos was in the way. And Richmond has another stop.
I'm so impressed with this Spider defense so far. Nothing has been easy. Even the goal from Keegan, pretty far out there. You want your shots coming from the 12 to 15 yard mark. That's what you expect when you have a good goalkeeper. Those are the ones that he wants to see.
This is a really, really talented defensive unit for the Spiders. Hunter Smith is fantastic. Down low for the visitors today. Flag flies. This is the freshman Pickard. He's doubled. Pickard gets free. Passes it near side. O'Neal. He didn't like what he saw. Now, right now, if you're Richmond, the shot clock doesn't really matter because of the flag. You can take your time here, Ben. You know you're going to get man up if you don't score.
And if you're Maryland, you got to get this ball out and touch it.
Joe Sheridan tries to turn loose from his man Larkin, but A.J. Larkin has really stepped up early in this game. Richmond man up the first time here today.
And we'll see that man down unit come out for Maryland. We'll have to see who is out there. Trying to get a look at maybe what this penalty is. Have to see who's going to the sin bin here for the Terps.
There was contact there from Canfield and Kohler, both of whom are standing in the sin bin, but I think it's going to be number 8 in white, Eric Kohler, a shorty you're very high on, Ben, who's going to take the knee. So the Spiders man up. Can they take advantage and tie this game? Armitage pass to the far side. This is so important, these opportunities for the Spiders. Can they make the most of them? Far side with it, Leo Kane. A pass down low, it was a good one, but McNaney was there to cut it off. Just looking for Lucas Littlejohn right at the doorstep, but Maryland's veteran goalie will knock it away.
Tyler, when you run that 5-man rotation, the place that you can get beat is on that far backside. But Maryland's okay with that because when you have a goalkeeper like McNaney, he almost serves as an extra defender right there to defend that pass, and that's what he did.
So here's Bryce Ford. And we've seen a few freshmen in this game for Maryland. Peter Lake, certainly with a very high ceiling on the defensive end. Here's a transfer, Matt Keegan. He's got the game's only goal. Passes down low for Spanos. Here's Kelly as Keegan went down. Spanos to the far side for Bryce Ford, the game's only assist. Whittier to his right, a pass across. Urksa goes down, finds Ford anyway. This is Keegan. Good pass, but I think it was tipped before it got to Spanos, and it goes out of play, so Maryland will keep it.
A couple of these possessions, Tyler, and especially on that one, I think Maryland has passed on a couple times where a shot might have been there.
They've only got 10 seconds to get a shot now. Whittier. Pass is knocked down. It was intended for Keegan, and that's Hunter Smith. That's what he does. An excellent defenseman here for Richmond, wearing number 6. First team All A-10 last season. And now the Spiders are going to slow things down on the offensive end, get their guys in. A low-scoring game so far, 1-0 to the hosts. Here's O'Neal, working on Will Schaller. Now comes around the far side, physical defense as Schaller forces that pass. Lucas Slate. Back to Max Merklinger. Up top, it's Lucas Olsen. Good defense on him by Stamos. Charlie Packard. Cuts, turns, saved. McNaney got his stick up. How good is the new number 1 look so far, Ben?
He has looked excellent, whether he's defending out of the cage to get the pass or just doing what he does best. Anything up high is McNaney's game. He is one of those keepers where if you put anything up high from distance, he is going to see it and he's going to catch it with his stick.
So will be Maryland ball really quick. Let's take a look at that save. Just incredible stuff. This is Jack Schultz. Again, one of a few freshmen we've seen. Number 68 player in this freshman class. Jack Dowd into the game, wearing 55. First time we've seen him. Boy, was he fantastic in his time at Salisbury.
And that's a really good Salisbury program at the D3 level. Don't discount what he did over there.
Pass gets away there from Armitage from Jack Schultz. And out of play it goes. Richmond's defense. I know they're trailing, but Ben, the defense is keeping them in this game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're Richmond, you have to love the place that you're in at this moment. It's been difficult for Maryland to find good shots. The one really good look that Maryland got was the Keegan goal, and that shot came from quite some distance as well. You'll live with that.
So the Spiders get it clear. Seems like early in the season, so far in this game, I think Maryland's more worried about getting the right guys on the field than really working on their ride. This is Pickert, the freshman. Pass to the near side for Aiden O'Neal, the junior. Their top returning guy on this offensive end. Joe Sheridan. He's got the shorty, but he passes it up. Far side, great look O'Neal off the post. That was the best opportunity for Richmond in this game. And the whistle's gonna go against Maryland. Richmond's gonna get it back, but how close were the Spiders to tying it there?
Well, this is a good look right here for O'Neal, and that's exactly where you need to put it on McNaney, low into the far side, and just catches the woodwork.
It's a good look for the guy they want to be in that situation all game long. Number 5 in red. He's got the ball right now. We're seeing a lot of Daniel Pickert, the 3-star recruit out of Pleasantville High School up in New York. Alpa. He dropped his defender, then he dropped the ball. A race to it, it's won by Joe Sheridan. That's a heads-up play by the junior.
Burles great on the slide right there to get that ball out.
Physical defense there on O'Neal by Schaller. Here's Sheridan. 7 goals last year for number 7. Looking for his first here. There's a shot from distance, no trouble for Logan McNaney.
That ball was at his feet. Those are tough to save, but like you said, the distance is what helps. He's got great vision.
That's a big thing, Ben, to have a goalie who's kind of been your guy for a while, because the defense, they know what he likes to see.
That's right. They exactly cater to the goalkeeper. He's the anchor.
Here's Matt Keegan. Maryland's got 30 seconds. They're trying to double up Richmond here with 2 first-quarter goals. The defense on both sides has been so good here in game 1. This is Whittier. He's making a dash for it in the middle. Pass it over to the far side. It's Urksa. Behind it goes, and now it's dropped. This is Keegan. Not much time here for Maryland. Pass in the middle. It's Whittier right at the buzzer. 2-0 Terps. What a great cut by Zach Whittier.
There wasn't much time, and when you get in those situations as a midfielder or just someone off the ball, your only option is, I got to find a way to get open off the ball. And this pass, how does it get through everybody there? And it finds Whittier, and that's an easy finish for a veteran player such as himself.
Zach Whittier really came alive in the NCAA tournament last season, picking up 4 of his 6 assists when it mattered most, and now he's got a goal in game 1. 2-0 Terps. Ben, how about this Maryland defense so far?
Defense, really got to give credit to both sides. You give up a last-second goal there for Richmond. That's unfortunate given the defense that had played that entire first quarter.
Welcome back to College Park. What can you say about John Tillman? I mean, 2-time national champ. He guided a team from the 7th seed to the national championship game last season. And Ben, I don't think that's good enough for him. He's hungry this year for number 3.
He sure is. The expectation every single year with Tillman is to raise that trophy and be the national champion. And even in years where he hasn't maybe had as much talent on the offensive side, he has found ways to get the most out of every team he's ever coached.
Big face-off here at the middle. Maryland looking to win another one. A whistle's going to go Maryland's way. So how about the job that Keithler has done so far, Ben? It was a huge question mark coming into this season. You know, what are we going to see from the dot? As now a whistle goes against Maryland. Richmond ball.
Kind of a hectic moment, but to get back to your point, he's only taken 35 faceoffs before today. It looks like he's taken 1,035.
Well, he has in practice against one of the best to do it here in Weirman.
And that's just my point right there.
This is Lucas Slate. Gives it up for Charlie Packard. Richmond out shooting Maryland in this game, yet they trail by 2, and that's save number 4 for McNaney.
And that's kind of indicative of why. That shot right there, it's too far out. McNaney, who's been so good in this Maryland cage for so many years now, you just can't put shots like that past him.
McNaney. Terps got to get it clear. Is the goalie going to do it himself? You bet he will. How about number 1 taking it down the field? Now it's knocked free, stays with Maryland. But Logan McNaney, we've seen it his whole career, Ben. He's never afraid to take it himself if there's not a pass there.
Well, you know what it takes to wear number 1 in this program. So the fact that he in the cage is wearing it tells you all you need to know about him.
So here go the Terps for the first time here in the second quarter. It's Whittier near side for Urksa. Led the team in points last season, but he also led them in turnovers. You think another year under his belt of experience is definitely going to iron that out and make him more deadly. Here's a pass up front. Daniel Kelly, 3-0.
I think Maryland's starting to find some success with the cutters. That's a couple possessions in a row now that Maryland has been able to find a way to get some of these guys open right in front of the goal. You have a very solid keeper in there for Richmond and Vigu, but if you get the ball right on the doorstep right there, these guys are going to have a really hard time stopping a play like that. Kelly, a veteran player.
And that's on the great shorty, Jack Pilling, that we highlighted. You can see 19 in red just got a little lost there, and the former Calvert Hall Cardinal steps up, gives Maryland their third goal. First face-off win of the day here for Richmond. And again, Kelly, you talk about experience and how important that really is. He's definitely a guy who's been around this program. He's been a reserve at times. He's been a starter at times. And he's got a lot of lacrosse ahead of him this season, I'm sure. McNaney just got the stick to it, deflects it out of play. He has just been possessed in this game.
Standing on his head.
It was a quick look at last save. Good defense by Canfield navigating the goal. That can be so hard when you're behind it. Sheridan, near side, the freshman Pickard, side netting. Some Richmond fans were cheering. They thought that McNaney had finally been beaten, but it's just not the case. And you're right, Ben, I think it's a combination of having number 1 in net, but also this defense in front of him has looked so good here early in this season.
And Tyler, there's so much continuity on this defensive side as opposed to really the offense, and that's a big part of why they're playing so well early.
This is Bryce Ford. He's got a helper already. Gives it up to Keegan, who's already got 2 points. Here's Whittier. It was his goal at the end of the first quarter that gave the Terps a bit of breathing room. Spanos from behind, nothing there. That is great defense by Hunter Smith. Simply one of the best to do it in the A-10. Ford passes behind. Urksa steps to the front. And that's number 6 in red again, cutting him off. There's a tough shot deflected away. Keegan just had to take something with the shot clock winding down. And again, as good as Maryland's defense has looked in this game, I wouldn't say Richmond's as far behind them.
No, not at all. Richmond has done a fantastic job of, despite Maryland spinning the ball around very well, trying to find open looks, Richmond's done a good job of keeping it at bay, really.
Lucas Olson gives it up, Charlie Packard. He finds Merklinger. Can he get free? He's got the shorty. The double comes, that's Larkin. That's a great switch. This is Lucas Slate. Just nothing there. Good defense by Kohler. Pass goes up top for Olsen. Richmond's got 25 seconds to work with. And the Spiders finally get on the board. It's O'Neill. A big hit comes, and the ball's scooped up by Schaller. That was the shorty Eric Kohler getting in there, forcing the turnover. Great job by Schaller to be in the right place to scoop it up.
The slides have come early, they've come often, and Maryland has been extremely successful when it's doubled in this game. The ball has come free very often.
It's a big question coming into this season. How would Maryland use Jack Dowd? Because he could do everything. He could play shorty for you. He can also score at the offensive end. And looks like he's in that second midfield line, Ben. I feel like we're going to see him doing a lot. You can see him on the bottom of your screen when 55 in white. Got the ball right now. Urksa. Good look for Kelly. Couldn't find the goal, but it goes right to Spanos, and Maryland can resume their offense pretty quick here. Here is Dowd. Dowd stepped in, back out. 10 on the shot clock for the Terps. It's Kelly. Up top for Stowball. Dowd's just going to have to let this fly, and he will. I don't know if he got it off. Doesn't matter, he missed it. Richmond's defense has been making life very, very hard for Maryland's offense. Despite the 3 goals already, with the defense Maryland has played, they've had plenty of chances, Ben, to add to it.
Almost every possession, this Spider defense has seemingly walled off the Terps offense. And I'll say this right now, Richmond hasn't found the goal quite yet, but that is soon to change. I think this Richmond team can only be kept at bay for so long.
Timeout is going to be called by Richmond. They're going to talk things over, Ben, because they just have not been able to get anything going up top, and your defense can only hold off the Terps for so long.
Yeah, I think this is a big possession to take that timeout. Richmond really needs to find a goal here on this possession.
100th season for Maryland. Just an unbelievable stat there that they've been above 500 in all 99 of their years coming into this one.
It's an East Coast sport, and Maryland has kind of become the pinnacle of college lacrosse. Maryland, just one of those programs, especially here under John Tillman, just known for winning and winning quite often. Even in the years where Maryland has maybe lacked a little bit of talent on the offensive side, Maryland has found a way to make a deep run, including last year all the way to the national title game. Then you got on the other side Richmond, a program that's only existed for 12 years, but it's already found a lot of success in college lacrosse, which is a difficult sport to kind of make a name for yourself in.
Dan Shamati has been at the helm of this Spider program since its debut in 2014. What's he done? Well, he's taken them to the NCAA tournament 5 out of a possible 10 times, including their very first season. So he started off with a bang, and they've just been a consistent team ever since, Ben. They've always been a tough team to beat. For Maryland, it's never come easy against the Spiders.
This has been the season opener now for the past 3 years for Maryland, a 4th matchup between these two teams. And I really like that for Richmond and Shamati. This is an opportunity to play a team that you know is going to be in the top 10, one of the better teams in the entire nation when the come season end. And that's why so often you see this Richmond team get battle tested, and it pays off. They've had a lot of success, especially in the postseason.
Yeah, Richmond has been picked as the first place team in every single year of the A-10's existence. For Maryland, they started off as the highest ranked team in the national poll in the Big Ten, but Hopkins has the edge when it comes to league play.
And I'll say this, Hopkins is back. We saw last year just how good Johns Hopkins was. A couple of down years for that program, but that rivalry, Maryland and Johns Hopkins, when those two are good, college lacrosse is a special thing.
Yeah, I can't wait for the rivalry later this season. It's going to be played on a Friday night under the lights right here at CQ Stadium. Good defense there by Kohler again. Maryland, it's just been a team effort so far, Ben. The shorties have stepped up, the pulls have stepped up, and the goalie, McDaney, has saved all 5 shots that have come his way.
Richmond's out of the timeout right here. We'll see what it has drawn up because this is a huge possession.
You don't want to come up empty-handed again against Maryland. Can't play that game for long. Richmond's got 15 seconds. Gavin Creo behind the goal. Merklinger into the middle. He's got to pass it off. It's Alpaugh. It's knocked out of his stick. It goes flying out of play. Maryland's defense has just been exceptional.
everything top to bottom, from the goalkeepers to the short sticks to the poles to the LSM. Everyone has played their role. Everyone has rotated when they had to, and the help has been incredible, even on a couple plays. Kohler, fantastic defense behind the cage. He gets tripped up when the slide comes, and he does a great job to rotate, and he eventually squeezes back in to force that errant pass toward the end.
Bryce Ford gets taken down. Loose change scooped up by Hunter Smith. But he can't move the ball forward. It's just a war for the loose ball right now. This is a tough ground ball, and Daniel Kelly comes out of the pile with it.
That gets the bench going.
That gets the crowd going as well. That's the type of game you're going to get every time you play Richmond. Every loose ball is going to be a battle. And that's kind of what you want if you're John Tillman to start off your season, Ben. A physical game against a team that really, really wants that defining win. There's a shot in the goal, far side, Bryce Ford. From defense to offense again for Maryland.
Now this is just a massive swing right here for the Spiders. An opportunity to get this ground ball. Who wants it? Seemingly everybody wants it on both sides. And you have a lot of contact on both sides. And Daniel Kelly, a veteran player who comes up with this ground ball. And Bryce Ford, how about this for his first goal as a Terp? That's a huge swing.
Again, it looked like Richmond was going to get a stop. And instead, Maryland takes it up the other way and scores. And now it's Sean Crater into the game for Maryland at the dot. You know, it was a question, how much of Crater would we see? Keithler was probably going to be the starter with just a little bit more experience. Coming into this game, Sean Crater had only taken 12 faceoffs. He was a really highly touted recruit out of high school. The second ranked faceoff guy in that class last year. And now here he has been coming in and winning a faceoff. That's his second that he's taken today and the first that he's won. So Maryland's offense with a chance here to set things up. Jack Dowd to Spanos. .25 seconds left to go on the shot clock for Maryland. This is just a Terp bunch that has looked so poised. They haven't been panicking.
Smart with the ball as well.
There's so much experience out there, even with the new guys. They played a lot of college lacrosse. Dowd for Kelly, off the post and in. His second of the ball game, set up by Jack Dowd.
And that's just Kelly's spot right here. Dowd, weren't sure what kind of role we'd see him. That's a great pass. And Kelly, when he gets on that wing, if you give an opportunity to wind up and shoot low to low, that is where he is so dangerous. And he's been doing that for years here in College Park.
(5-0) Maryland. And again, when the defense gets going, I think the offense, it just gives you that extra boost because you know that the guys at the other end have your back, Ben.
Yeah, and this has been a real back-breaking moment perhaps for Richmond. You call the timeout when it's 3-0, hoping to find something on that possession. Then you have that huge swing after the ground ball from Kelly, and then Kelly scores to make it 5. So at this point, Daniel Kelly has really given Maryland a comfortable lead right here.
This is O'Neal. Pushed from behind by Will Schaller. We've said his name a lot, Ben. He's been a guy that has really stepped up over the course of his career. You'd expect that trajectory to continue moving up this time around.
Yeah, he got great run as a freshman, even more as a starter during his sophomore year. So now he's kind of primed to be in this position here at Maryland as one of the best defenders.
Absolutely. Good defense there by Stamos. Loose ball. Can the shorty pick up the ground ball? Again, every loose ball is such a battle. And it's going to go all the way back for McNaney. A caused turnover for Stamos. Getting the bench fired up.
Another piece of continuity. He's that short stick, but he was excellent last year. Paired him alongside the transfer they brought in from Vermont, Colin Sharkey. Those two were really great together. Kohler filled in as that third guy. Now you got Kohler in a bigger role on that side. And this D-mid unit looks really good for Maryland today.
So now we will see this Maryland offense go. We've yet to see Spencer Ford, the top attackman recruit in the country. I don't even see him down on the sideline. Urksa to his left. Pass goes to the far side for Keegan. He spins, he gets space, it's Ford! It's 6-0 Maryland. As Keegan returns the favor, Ford set him up, and now he gives Ford his first goal in a Maryland uniform.
There was a lot of hype around this guy when it was announced he was coming out of the transfer portal to College Park, and that is a missile into the top right corner. Not many can stop that shot, and this Maryland offense has really started to click here in this second quarter. Dangerous spot here for the Spiders, now down by 6.
Everything has been going Maryland's way so far on both ends of the ball. Keithler is back in there at the dot, and Keithler is there to scoop up the ground ball. Oh no, a whistle is going to go against the Terps. I think it was Colin Burles who drew it. So now Richmond will set things back up on the offensive end. They just have not been able to get going. That continues. Another save for McNaney. His 6th already.
That was such a good chance, and it's another example of it's tough to go high on McNaney right in front of the goal right there. That shot has to be buried.
Whistle's gonna go. Timeout called by the Terps. They're looking to put things away here early. It's the second quarter, but with 2 minutes left, Richmond still hasn't scored, Ben. How about this defense?
It's been incredible. Another look at the save right here in a moment from McNaney. And this is really the best chance. CC Canfield gets beat right here, and that's a really good opportunity for Creo right there to try to get through, but once again, that shot just has to go low on McNaney.
So it's 6-0 Terrapins. 6 saves already for McNaney. He has just been a brick wall back there. It's kind of what's expected of number 1. Never seen a goalie wear it since the tradition began. But Logan McNaney has really stepped up today.
Yeah, both these teams, 13 shots. Maryland, 7 of them on goal. Richmond, 6 of them. A lot of these shots for Richmond have just been from too far out, or just, quite frank, not really good enough shots to go by McNaney, and he's done his job in the cage.
And if you're Richmond right now, what do you think that Dan Chimani is saying to his guys?
I think he's telling them that they got to relax. There's still a lot of time in this ball game. If you can finish this half strong, maybe rattle off a goal or two right here, get a stop, get some momentum going into the break. Lacrosse is a sport where things can flip so quickly because of that face-off dot. If you start cooking from over there, it's really hard for the other team to stop you. So if you're Richmond, absolutely need to find a goal here before the end of the half.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if you're Richmond, you cannot go into the locker room with the 0 still in the scoreboard. And if you're Maryland, you can't get content against a Spider team that has pushed you to the brink, so many times already. But what more can you say? I mean, 6 for 6 on shots that he has faced here in game 1. It's really what's expected when you wear number 1, and he has really lived up to the billing so far.
I mean, think about the shoes he has to fill with this number 1. Last year, you have Ajax Zapatello wearing that number 1 jersey, and he was a warrior on and off the field. He was relentless, never gave up, never quit, and that's what McNaney has been like throughout his career at Maryland. Had a season-ending injury a couple years back. That didn't stop him from making his mark even more on this program, and he came back as a graduate for a reason. He wants to be the guy here at Maryland once more.
These transfers have really fit in with the guys that have been here for a while in this Maryland offense. This is a unit that looks to be in mid-season form right now despite all the turnover. And you've also got two guys, in Whittier and Kelly, that have spent most of their time at Maryland coming off the bench. They have also had that seamless transition to be starters. Things just clicking right now for the team in white. There's another shot from the far side. It's Keegan again. You talk about the importance of the face-off dot. Richmond has made a change. Jackson Strickland into the game. Really interesting story. Grew up in South Carolina. He moves to Towson, goes to Calvert Hall. Great student there. He was a Brother Tom Miller Honors Scholar, and now here he is at Richmond playing back in his adopted home state. And he wins the face-off, too. I mean, you said it, Ben. Richmond is not going to get back into this game if they don't start taking care of business at the dot.
Absolutely. I mean, I think at this point, if you're trailing by this many goals, you got to have almost every single one at the dot at this point.
Well, Strickland is now 1 for 1. Can the Spiders get going? That is just really physical defense by Maryland. Richmond's going to have to call timeout. And the Terps bench is so fired up.
That's Jordy Holmes out there laying the wood. And that's a guy that's really made his mark on this program for his man down D. Look at him just standing tall through the shoulder of 13 in red. Forced him to lose the footing in the timeout.
And again, it's a timeout that needs to come because Richmond still hasn't scored. We've got 27 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. You said it, I said it. Richmond cannot go into the break with a 0 still on the board.
Absolutely not. And keep in mind for the listeners at home or wherever you're watching from, it's really hard to pitch a shutout in one half, yet alone an entire game in Lacrosse as a defense. What Maryland's defense has done in this first half is almost unprecedented. This is a good Richmond offense, and Maryland has made it so difficult on them.
Let's highlight Keegan here. He has been excellent in his first game as a Terp.
He really has. He's found ways to not only score the ball, but find his teammates. And he's looked like he's played here for years at this point, the way he has clicked with some of these returning players like Kelly, as you saw on your screen right there, who has 2 goals today. And that connection, 45 and 36, seeing them showing some love to one another. Expect a lot more from those two going forward.
And again, John Tillman is kind of known for just changing things throughout the season.
Yeah, he is. We saw a lot of that last year, guys moving around. Urksa getting some run in the midfield. Kelly moving around a little bit. I think almost anyone on the offense, when you're in the Terp program, you're expected to be able to play almost anywhere they put you.
I think when we talk about guys that we haven't seen, I'll reiterate, Spencer Ford, I just saw him walking out of that huddle. He's the best attackman recruit in the country. We still haven't seen him, and the Terps have 7 goals. The depth for Tillman, you know, that offensive end, that was the big question mark. They've got returning guys stepping up and transfers really showing out here in their debut. 10 seconds for Richmond. Can they get on the board before the half? Far side, that's Kohler. The double comes. It's Burles. Good switch, and the clock just runs out. Richmond called timeout. They ran out of time, and it's 7-0 Maryland.
See the emotion from those Maryland defenders. That's a super impressive feat to pitch a shutout in the first half. And you know that they're hungry to keep that going in the second half. That's absurd work from the defense.
And it's game one. You would think maybe a miss on a switch, a miscommunication, nothing. The Terps have been perfect so far here in this one. They lead it 7-0. We've still got 30 more minutes of lacrosse coming up. Stick with us here on Big Ten Plus.
University of Maryland Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources. University of Maryland Office of Marketing and Communication. Baltimore County Police Department. Maryland Energy Administration. And Big Further. Filter Services and Curated Events. Thank you all for your support of Maryland and Lacrosse. And Solomon Offices and Service is the latest version of the Maryland Terrapins in Solomon Highlight on the Federal Week Junior Race of men's basketball. Visit UHF.com to learn more about all of the juniors and units. For the most state-of-the-art technology and surgical procedures, choose Solomon High Physicians and Surgeons.
Welcome back to College Park. I'm Tyler Lochte. He is Ben Strober, and for the first time since March 24th, 2015, the Maryland Terrapins have pitched a first half shutout.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier toward the end of that half that the watchers at home should really be amazed with what they're seeing because this doesn't happen often. That's proof for almost 10 years, or now over 10 years to the date pretty much, that Maryland hasn't had a shutout in the first half. And everything has been clicking on all cylinders, including the offensive side.
For the Terps, the goals have come from returners like Daniel Kelly and also newcomers like Keegan and Ford.
Yeah, everything has kind of just meshed so well. Despite it being the first time a lot of these guys have played in a full real game together. There was a scrimmage recently that both these teams played in, but Maryland has found a way to kind of establish some chemistry already.
Look at every single stat outside of saves. It's just unbelievable. I mean, you got to give credit to Jackson Strickland for coming in. He won all 3 of the faceoffs that he took for Richmond. Before that, it was all Maryland. But the difference right now is just Logan McNaney, I think. Both teams with 7 shots on goal.
Yeah, McNaney has really just gobbled everything up in the cage, and that's what he's done for years for this Maryland program. And if you're Richmond, you have to find a way to maybe adjust and find a better way to get some shots that are going to be tougher for him to save, because he's just so good that if you shoot from far out and high, he's going to find it and save it.
So the Terps will look to keep riding their defense. It has really shown up today. And again, that was not really the question mark, right? It was, what would the offense do? Oh, they've got 7 goals already. And this is a really, really good Richmond team. They come into the season ranked. They're picked to win their conference. And they are looking for a 6th trip to the NCAA tournament. There would be their 3rd in 4 years. Jackson Strickland is back in the game for Richmond, and he wins another face-off. Former Cardinals now 4 for 4, and Ben, he's really given this Richmond team a chance.
I mean, that's all Richmond can really do at this point, is if you can control the game from the face-off X, you can let everything else fall into place from there, but it all starts there. So a lot of credit to Strickland for keeping this possible now.
So now we see the Richmond offense. Again, they've got 13 shots, 6 of them have been on goal, and yet they still have a 0 next to their name. Creo. Near side. That's just physical defense on him by Kohler. Aiden O'Neill. Working on Shaw. The switch comes. This is the matchup Richmond wants. Their top guy on the shorty. It's O'Neill. He scores. Spiders take advantage. Must be something about this half of the field.
I guess so, but that comes as a huge sigh of relief for this Richmond team, and we just said it. Everything else can fall into place if you control the face-off X. And this is your best player on the offensive side. Find a way to get him going. That's the matchup that you need, the short stick on the defensive side. And maybe Richmond can find something here if Strickland can keep up the success from the dot.
Maryland scored 5 goals on that goal in the second quarter. Richmond quickly strikes. Face-off is won by Crater. He takes and scores a Fogo goal for Maryland. And a quick answer.
That has to be one of the most deflating things you can see if you're this Richmond team. You score, you finally feel like things might go your way, and 4 seconds later, the other team is already celebrating.
First goal in Crater's career. It was the first time that he had beaten Jackson Strickland, and he takes it himself and scores. And he's won another face-off. Momentum back in Maryland's hands. Sean Crater, I think, may have just found something. He had won just one of his first 5 that he took today. He scoops one up on Strickland, who had just been impossible to beat up to that point. He takes it all the way and buries it. And you're right, Ben, that's just so demoralizing. If you're Richmond, you finally get on the board, you finally get something going up top, and instead, that 7-goal lead is back for Maryland. The Terps are not content. Urksa. He finds Whittier. Far side, Kelly in space. Cutting inside there was Spanos. Physical defense on him. It's going to stay with Maryland. Backed up by Ford.
Yeah, keep in mind, we haven't even called Spanos' name too much in this game, and he was one of Maryland's best players offensively last year. He's a guy that can score in any given possession.
And
there's a lot of depth everywhere.
If you're a Maryland fan, I don't know if that's the worst thing, because that's a proven name, and you're seeing other guys you didn't really know what to expect, and they have been the ones that have stepped up. It's Kelly, only returner with multiple goals. Keegan finds him. Kelly, nice move. Nice save, Figueroa. He's just had tough looks, I think, all day. Maryland has done a really, really good job of setting up their offense, putting their guys in good positions. Figueroa is a fantastic goalie. He was co-A10 goalie of the year last season.
Yeah, he's had to face a lot of really tough shots in this one, and that was a good look for Kelly. Good ball fake to get free.
Here's Creo. Can Richmond's offense get back on their feet again? Hayden O'Neill is going to bring this out. McDaney barking instructions from the cage. Schuller's been working on O'Neal all day, and the only time that he wasn't was when O'Neal scored, when O'Neal got that switch. He's trying to beat him. This time he does. Aiden O'Neal starting to get going. That's his second.
It's a good way to get yourself going just a little bit more after the goal on the face-off from Maryland. But you get a good save right here from Biggie. That's tough at point blank. And that sets everything up to switch sides offensively. O'Neal, this is a tough matchup against an uber-aggressive defender in Will Schaller. And just takes it with that shoulder down the alley. That's a terrific finish.
In lacrosse, it just kind of feels like no lead is safe. As Shake Kiefler goes back out there, whistle's going to go against Richmond. That was DeCenso who came in for Strickland, who had lost the last two. So O'Neal has both of Richmond's goals. Maryland's had a quick response last time with a Fogo goal. It's not going to be as quick this time around, but Terps do have it. Pass up top, it's Dowd. Extra pass for Armitage. Great save by Vigue, who's been excellent in the second half.
Yeah, he looked antsy to shoot that one. First time got to see him get the touch, and maybe not the best shot for him right there, though.
So now here comes Richmond's offense. A pass down low, and somehow McDaney gets there. Logan McDaney will clear it himself. And the bench gets fired up for their new number one. Elijah Stovall waiting for reinforcements to come. Spanos is on, Ford is on. Terps are ready to rock and roll. Here's Dowd up top. Bryce Ford. Took a step in, back out. Dowd to Stovall far side. Stovall for Spanos. No space. That's good close out there by Packard, who's been playing both ends so far today. Spanos inside. It's Kelly, the hat trick. It's 9-2 Terps.
The ball movement has been so fluid for Maryland offensively. A lot of questions whether these guys would mesh together, move the ball well, especially here in the first game. It's February 1st, and we got ball movement like that. Kelly on the board for the third time in this game, and that's just tough to stop.
Again, Kelly's role seems to be different every year at this Maryland program. He was the top guy on the offensive end in 22. Maybe he'll be that again for this Terrapin team. How about Spanos connecting there on the assist? And again, Ben, I think the ball movement, I agree, has just been so good for a team in their first game. I think that's the most impressive part.
As a coach, you never want the ball just to die in someone's stick as the ball gets away. But if you're Maryland right here, the ball just continues to move around. And as a coach, you really love to see that because that's how things open up. Maryland maybe doesn't have like the Jared Bernhardt or the Logan Wisnauskas of years past, but if you can have a team that just scores by committee, you're going to be very successful.
Look at last season, that was the case, and the team made the national championship game without a 50-point scorer. Keegan lost the ball, and it's scooped up going the other way. With it is Chris Mazzaferri. Excellent job there by the shorty for Richmond. Flag is going to be thrown, I think, on a sub for Maryland. So now if you're Richmond, you can take your time because you know if you don't score, you're getting the ball right back. Man up. Here's O'Neal. He's got Schaller again. He beat him last time. Can he do it again? He tries it. Kick save, McNaney. And it's going to go out of play. Richmond will have a man-up opportunity and a big chance, Ben, to get back in this game.
An absolute must-score chance here for this Richmond team. Already one man-up opportunity early in this game. Maryland did a great job with the 5-man rotation. See if the Spiders maybe switch it up a little bit here and see if they try to beat Maryland another way.
So the Spiders will set up their man-up attack. O'Neal. Alpo. 20 seconds left. Man up. If you're Richmond, this just feels like a must-have. Alpo back over the far side. It's Slate. That's a good look for Alpo, denied. Loose ball scooped up. McNaney there again. And the Terps are rolling. A bouncer to Kohler who just chooses to slow it down. Another penalty kill for Maryland. And Logan McNaney continues to just have a monster day. 2 goals allowed, 10 saves for Maryland's new number 1.
Double digits on day one, not too shabby for the veteran.
Here's Urksa behind. And I'll tell you, there was some talk, is a goalie gonna wear 1? You know, what's that gonna be like? There's your answer. Ford to Keegan. Urksa near side. Maryland wants to see him get going like he did last year. That's deflected behind. Race for the ball is going to be won by Daniel Kelly. He's been really good scooping ground balls today. The pass is intercepted, though, by Vigu. And a whistle goes on the hit on the backside. It's going to be Maryland ball again. They're getting Michael Farrell with a lot of contact. Here's another look at McNaney. It falls loose in front of him. And he is still there, Ben, to make the save. And that's the physicality on the far side by Farrell.
Yeah, just a cross-check, a little too much aggression with it.
Keegan behind the goal. He's got the shorty on him, passes it off. Flag is going to fly. Terps are going to be man up. Urksa directing traffic from X. Now he's going to come to the front. Man went down. Urksa tries to scoop it behind for Spanos. Now he takes Urksa's spot behind the goal. He finds Ford, just missing it wide. It goes out of play. Terps man up for the first time this year. As if their offense needed the boost.
It's been fluid. Now you got the extra attacker on and see what kind of personnel it brings out here. It's always an interesting part to see her early in the season. Who you have on your EMO and what you can run from there. So Maryland puts no one on the crease here. Now here goes one.
There's Dowd up top, Kelly. That's Dubik on the field wearing 32. You said, will there be a change in personnel? There it is. Dowd. There is Dubik. Passes out. Good look, Spanos off the post. Or maybe Vigu got a touch to it.
That was a good looking play. Just didn't get the execution there. The shot rings off the post, but that's a really good pass from Dubik.
So now Richmond will look to get it clear. They've survived Maryland's first chance man up. But they still trail by 7, and they need to get going now. O'Neal Scholler does well not to lose him. Alpal to the near side. It's just not much room for Richmond to get shots off, good ones at least. O'Neal tries something, and that's just what you got to do. At this point, if you can't get good looks, you need to just force the issue. That's what O'Neal did coming around the back.
And especially when you have 2-7 and White on you.
How good has Scholler been today?
He has been phenomenal.
That's Gorno wearing 47. Scooped up 208 ground balls before coming here to Maryland. McDaney with yet another save. The Bowden Polar Bears really had a heck of a player in Gorno, and now John Tillman is very excited to see what he can do.
What a name, the Polar Bears, and what a player that he is and what he brings to the table for Maryland.
We've seen a lot of guys playing shorty today. We saw a little bit of Holmes, who, remember, coming into this season while he has been here, just a man-down guy. You see a few transfers come in and have an impact in that spot. And, of course, Kohler and Stamos, who have been doing it. They were great last season. Look good so far today. Everybody is doing their part for the Terps, as Keegan wants his own hat trick and misses it just wide.
Maryland's got the clock in its favor as well right here. You can take as much time as you need on all these possessions.
They've still got 30 seconds. Let's forward up top. Bryce Ford. 20 seconds now. Terps need to have a bit of urgency. Keegan comes around and scores his third. 10-2 Terrapins.
For his adversaries after scoring his third goal already here in his debut in this uniform.
Just seems like every transfer has been as good as you could hope them to be. How about the work that John Tillman has done, filling in the holes left by great players graduating in the portal. And a timeout will be called. We will step away. Maryland has just been rolling. 10-2 here on Big Ten Plus.
How many NCAA national championships has Maryland men's lacrosse won during their 100 seasons? Is it A, 4, B, 7, C, 22, or D, 10? If you answer A, 4, you'd be correct. That's that one from Lane. Maryland men's lacrosse trivia.
Welcome back to College Park. I'm Tyler Lochte. He is Ben Strober. Two teams in the top 18 battling right now, and there's a lot of teams right here that the Terps have to play. Notre Dame, Cuse, UVA, Princeton. They've got to play Hopkins, Penn State, Michigan. I mean, it pretty much is just the Maryland schedule right now.
Yeah, and Tyler, after next week, a road matchup with Loyola Maryland, team that Maryland has played the past couple years, the next three, Syracuse, Princeton, and Notre Dame, played in Georgia. That is an insane three-game run, and that's just really nothing new for John Tillman. He loves to schedule like that, so his teams are tested.
There's a pass to Armitage. Flag flies on a hit on Stovall. Terps are going to be man up again. Urksa behind the goal. Comes to the front, lost possession. And it's going to fall into the stick of Tommy Stool. So it will be Maryland's EMO unit coming out. 44 takes this hit.
Yeah, that's just too late for Mazzaferri. Comes over and a little bit high with the contact as well. They're going to call that every time.
So the Terrapins will get back to work. Dubik is out there again. He's got the ball right now. He will retreat to his spot in the middle. Up top for Dowd. Switches it over. Now it's back to Dowd. Armitage. Urksa down low for Spanos. Dubik covered well. Kelly for Dowd. Can he have space? No. Great find! Urksa! Back post! The ball movement today for Maryland has been sensational.
Felt like it was about time that you were calling out a Braden Urksa goal because it had just been too long. Urksa, one of the most talented players on this Maryland offense the past couple of years. And for him to be quiet this much throughout the game and Maryland put up 10 goals before him, that's a good sign of how good and how deep this offense has been.
He led them in scoring last year. And for Urksa, that's his first point of the day. To be blunt, they just haven't needed it. Everybody else has been great.
Total team effort at this point.
And you know John Tillman is still going to find whatever small thing Maryland got wrong. Although on the surface, it just doesn't seem like much right now.
Yeah, he's always got an eye for what his guys could do better.
Absolutely, and that's, you know, what winning programs do. And if you're Richmond right now, you just got to dig deep and find something, get momentum back in your favor. Their non-conference schedule is tough.
You get Canfield on a hold right there.
Here's O'Neal. 27 has been on him all day. O'Neal's only beaten him once, almost did again as the shot goes wide. And that will end the third quarter. But Richmond is going to be man up to start the fourth. It's just with the 9-goal deficit, you wonder how much and how fast are they going to need to get back in it. Urksa with the first of the day for him. Maryland by 9.
The official kick club of Maryland Athletics, and is open for all youth 8th grade and under. Members receive free admission to all Olympics or home events and select men's and women's basketball games.
Welcome back to College Park. Logan McNaney with 11 saves in his first game as Maryland's #1.
Shouldn't come as a surprise to see McNaney living up to the billing of the number on the back of his jersey. He has been so good for this Maryland program for years, and no different today. Had 13 saves against this Richmond team last year, already getting close to that mark today with 11. He's a guy that had double-digit saves 14 times last year, and when he's good, Maryland is good.
And again, there were people that were, just wondering, what is a goalie wearing 1 going to be like? It's dominance. That's all we have seen so far.
And Tyler, let's take a minute to talk about this. This was announced that McNaney was wearing 1 a week ago. That might be the latest we've ever seen Tillman make this decision, which maybe shows a lot about how difficult this decision was to be. But if you think back to all the players that have worn 1 in years past, they have always lived up to what that jersey means. Tillman doesn't just give it to anybody.
No, it's got to be earned. And
there have been years where they haven't had a 1.
Yes.
It has happened.
I believe 2007, though, is the last time. A lot of people thought this would be another year without 1. But right at the death, it was McNaney, and I think John Tillman got that one right, at least so far.
Believe so.
Yeah, McNaney's been as good as it gets. Pass behind the goal. Coming to the front is O'Neal. O'Neal's got to stop on a dime and pass it back over to the far side. Nothing has come easy today for Richmond. Another save for McNaney. And believe it or not, these two teams have the same amount of shots on goal right now.
Unbelievable.
14 each, and yet the Terps are up by 9. That's how good #1 has been. Now he's just got to fling it down the field to get it clear, goalie to goalie there.
That doesn't happen too often.
When's the last time that you've seen a goalie catch a ball thrown down from his opponent? And that's not to say that Figge has been bad. It's just the looks that Maryland has gotten on him. There's not much he can do. And again, we haven't even seen Spencer Ford yet. Top attackman recruit in the country. He's down on the sideline. He's in uniform. And he has not yet played. So you think Maryland's got that just waiting in the wings. And yet the other guys have been this good. I mean, that's a player with the talent to start on day 1, Ben.
It's all a process, and doesn't come easy. A lot of these guys that come to this Maryland program were the best players in their state, in their county. Dubik, a guy who's getting more run today in the extra man opportunities. He was one of the best players in the entire state at Churchill. I mean, when you think of blue and green, you think of the Bulldogs.
That's a nice save by Vigil.
But just to reiterate that point about Maryland just kind of being a process to work your way up.
Spiders offense got to get going. I think at this point, you just want to have momentum. You want to build confidence moving forward.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know if you could make up a 9-goal deficit against a team this good in Maryland. But again, you're taking the same amount of shots on goal. You just need to start getting shots to fall. O'Neal just caught that. He's moving to the front on Schuller. He's going to turn off balance, and those are the shots that Richmond has had to settle for.
Richmond's got some really tough opponents on the docket upcoming in 2 weeks. You got Virginia the same day that Maryland plays Syracuse. You got Cornell 2 weeks after that. This Richmond team schedule's very difficult early on in the season. That's no surprise.
It's the freshman Pickard. Working on Kohler, and Pickard scores. There's his first college goal. And Richmond is really high on the kid out in New York. They started him today, and he opens his account.
That's tough. The stick of Kohler was all up in his business, still find a way to get the hands free. Kohler was just a little bit flat-footed, allowed him to get topside there. That's not a mistake he makes very often.
Now that's a goal and one of the better shorties in the country. That's got to be a confidence boost for a freshman, and they really need that for number 11. They need him to believe in himself. He's going to have a big role this year. And if he can do things like that, I think he's going to have a successful first season at Richmond. But that's now twice been 2 of the 3 goals for Richmond have come against shorties. And what does that tell me? That says that Maryland has just been sliding so well.
100%.
They've reduced those matchups all game long.
There hasn't been a lot of them, and the shorties have done a really good job on those set opportunities. Right. You can only stop it so many times.
The other goal, of course, being O'Neal beating Schaller, but that's the only time we've seen a pole get beat today. From Maryland, that was a good pass to the far side. It was just dropped by Lucas Littlejohn. How about Jordy Holmes coming in, scooping up a ground ball? He's been good today. Much larger role it looks for him this year. Again, he's been a man-down guy. Now it looks like he's elevating to another shorty option, and a good one at that.
A lot of guys have played at the short stick DM position today, and that's a really good thing. You want to have fresh legs at all times because you can get tuckered out playing at that position. You got to be in great shape, got to run all over the field and be able to go both ways.
And it also, the more guys you can play, the more looks you can give the other side. I remember last year at Notre Dame, they had 3 midfield lines that they played regularly, and that's just so hard to stop. Urksa gets taken down, somehow keeps the ball, and he throws it away the backside. He was trying to connect with Schultz. Out of Ridgewood up in New Jersey. One of the better players they've ever had. That's a good pickup for Maryland. John Tillman loves to recruit out of that New Jersey area.
It's tough competition up there of schools like Princeton.
Yeah.
And those other competing Ivy Leagues that are up north as well.
Well, that's the thing, you want to try to establish a pipeline up there. You could sell a Maryland kid just on being Maryland, as McNaney scoops up another save.
I think the prestige of the Ivy Leagues makes it tough to recruit against. Maryland has found a way, though.
That's just so smart by Maryland. They get these good looks in transition, but right now you're kind of playing the clock as much as you're playing the opponent. Just run it down.
Yeah.
Richmond can't score on you if you've got the ball. Terps bringing in their first line guys. Whittier, remember, he had that big goal, that game changer at the buzzer of the first quarter.
Yeah, it was 1-0 at that point.
Right. Urksa coming around, finds Ford, swings it over to Matt Keegan. We've seen a lot of 24 and 36 connecting today. The 2 transfers feeling right at home here in College Park. 8 seconds, Terps got to go now. Keegan spins. He might just dump this, he will. But that's not a bad possession. if you're Maryland, to be able to run the clock all the way down. You know, obviously you're frustrated with the shot clock, but if it's not there, you don't really need to force it, get beat in transition. If you can dump it, you can make sure you've got your guys out there, Ben, on the defensive end.
Yeah, absolutely. No room for error at that point. You can kind of just, get rid of the ball, get your guys on the reinforcements, and get some of these fresh guys, especially in the midfield.
Again, it's 27 again. Guarding O'Neal. He seems to have really taken over that take on the top guy role Ajax Zapatello had last year, as McNaney again with the save, but he was caught out looking for the ground ball, and Richmond takes advantage. I think Lucas Littlejohn was there. It was just chaos in front of the goal. You can see McNaney going out for it. It's just scooped in. A golf shot by Littlejohn. That's a great goal.
That's something you dream of doing as a player in front of the goal. You see it there, just play it like hockey. Just whack it in, tennis racket it, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes you just got to get the ball in the goal how you got to.
Sean Crater beats Strickland. I mean, that's pretty much all that's been there today for Richmond. Not many clean looks. Here's Schultz. Jack Schultz has gotten the most run on the offensive end of any freshman. And, that's the interesting thing about John Tillman is Urksa cuts inside and it gets deflected away. John Tillman doesn't seem to care about rankings at all. He'll bring in a horde of top 100 guys every year. As an injured Richmond Spider there, that is Michael Farrell. But again, Tillman brings in the top guys every year. And right now, the only one that's really seen time up top has been Schultz. He's ranked 68th.
I think Tillman, if he had his own ranking system online, he would just create his own thing to rank players, because you can come in here as the top player, but based on what he sees in fall ball, what he sees in preparation, practice, all of those things he takes into account, he makes his own rankings, and that's who's playing on the field.
And I'd say that the group that he has selected here today has certainly made him proud. I mean, it's just game one with so many new pieces and parts. Terps are looking like a well-oiled machine right now with 5.5 to go. Here's O'Neal. He turns and beats Will Schaller again. That's his third of the day. And number 5 in red is as advertised.
He's been really good. He got shut down on a couple of opportunities in the first half, but he's turned up a notch here in this second half. And it's tough to beat 2-7. If you can get your hands free for just a second, that's all you might need if you're O'Neal. And he's shown that 3 times today.
He's only beaten Schaller twice, and 27 has been marking him all day. I mean, he's been denied, I think, a lot more than that. But still impressive for him to keep at it. And he's got his hat trick.
If you're Richmond, keep things going forward toward the end of this game. That could be a good sign. Still a tough schedule upcoming for both these teams. But if you're Richmond, got to have positive momentum going into the break.
Crater overran it. That was A.J. Larkin with a heck of a ground ball. These two pole wings that have just been so good on these face-offs, Larkin
he's just
and
an
Peter
enforcer.
Lake, 2 Loyola Dons. They're exceptional at scooping ground balls. And Ben, if you're a Maryland fan, that kind of reminds you of Chorus last year, a guy who scooped up ground balls on the wing. As the Terps get another, it's Urksa. what a performance for Maryland.
That's a result of having a guy like A.J. Larkin on your face-off wing. He wins you the ground ball, and this is too easy right here. Urksa can't be unmarked on the crease like that. It's just a lapse of coverage right there from the Spiders, and he's going to score that 10 out of 10 times, just like the number on his back.
So again, last time out, it was 26 Larkin. Now it's 39 Lake with the ball on the far side, and that's the first time that we will see Jonah Carrier wearing 28, the freshman, and he's won the faceoff. There's Lake again, scooping up the loose change. Again, it's just something about those Loyola Dons coming off the wings, getting Maryland these extra possessions.
They must practice it hard over there, huh?
I guess so. You know, 2 years ago when I was up at the booth with Matt Dunn for the Notre Dame game, I was asking him about it. He coaches over there at Loyola, his alma mater. And I think few could teach it better than he can. So he's worked with this group, and he's now produced two really, really good polls for Maryland in Larkin and Lake.
You know that MIAA is no joke.
Absolutely. That's a great find on the far side, and a goal for Littlejohn, his second. And the Spiders are not giving up.
A great pass there from Creo. Found a way through the seam on the right alley and just did a great job of finding Littlejohn right there on the crease.
That's an excellent find on the back post. But Richmond now has a 4-1 advantage in this fourth quarter. The only problem is that you just don't know if there's time. That's Carrier again winning a faceoff. Could he maybe be an option this year, Ben?
It's tough to tell at this part. You've had Crater, Keithler, and now Carrier, the guy that's made his name pretty much felt here in this building at the faceoff dot. You got a couple of options, and it might be tough for Tillman to see what he does going forward.
Well, at the faceoff dot, you'd love to have a ton of different guys that you can trust. Hamish McPherson is in the game. He's up there. Aiden Atkin is behind the goal. And it looks like Kevin Tucker is set to join the attack wearing 35. Another Don. When you've got the MIAA right in your backyard, you've just got to use it. Tillman certainly has. Here is Tucker. Passes behind for Atkin. Aiden Atkin will find Armitage. Armitage up top for Dubik. He's already got an assist today, and he will smartly dump that out.
See if Richmond can use these last couple of possessions here as just another way of showing some offensive life here going into next week. Seen some good stuff in this fourth quarter.
Richmond continuing to fight till the very end. Here's O'Neal working on Schaller. This has been a fun matchup to watch all game long. It's Sheridan up top. It's the freshman Pickert. He's already got a goal. Physical defense by Burles on Creo. Who's going to find the loose ball? It's Canfield for Maryland.
And a great pass to Schaller, and an even better pass up there. Can't handle it though.
It's given away. Here comes Richmond again with Alpal. Or excuse me, that's Gavin Creo. O'Neal. He's got a good matchup here. By that I mean just not 27, but he cannot take advantage. So timeout is going to be called here with 1:13 remaining. So for Maryland, It's been an impressive performance here on day one. And for Richmond, though, they're starting to take some momentum to end this game.
I mean, yeah, just look at the schedule upcoming for this Spider team, much like Maryland. Very tough sledding upcoming, and this is a good way to get your season started. You're on the road, you're facing a team that you know is going to be around the top of the rankings probably by the time the season ends. And it's a good way to just get the ball rolling a little bit, see what you need to work on going in next week. Robert Morris, a good opportunity for the Spider team to tune up a little bit before number 4 Virginia in Charlottesville.
That is just a brutal stretch. UVA, Lehigh, who's trying to hang on to their ranking, at Cornell, who many think could finally get it done and win that elusive title. Now let's look at what the Terps have coming up.
3 matchups in the top 5 in a row is insanity, but that's nothing to John Tillman. Don't call it insanity around him. He'll say that's just what we do around here. And that Syracuse matchup, we'll have that here on Big Ten Plus. That's going to be an exciting one. A lot of eyes from the college lacrosse world. That game went to overtime last year. Some controversy around the crease. George Stamos had the game-winning goal. It was an instant classic. And we'll have that here on Big Ten Plus. That's going to be really exciting 2 weeks from now.
All right, this was a big question mark coming into this season. Who would be the backup for Maryland? Would it be Schmidt, who played in 6 games last year, didn't concede a goal? Or would it be Rupel, who was outstanding when he was called into service to replace an injured McNaney 2 years ago? This is a guy with a cool story, the former Catonsville Comet. He played some midi for the Comets, but he just got beat there by O'Neill. Aiden O'Neill is not giving up until the final whistle. He gets by Trey Brown and sticks it past number 19.
And O'Neill has been really good, especially in this second half. He had a couple of really good opportunities. He rung the post once in that first half, had another good look that was saved by McNaney. He's already got 4. He was close to about 6 or 7 in this game.
This is impressive. Jordy Holmes is on the field. He's got a pole in his hand. He's been playing Shorty all game. And now John Tillman throwing in another wrinkle.
Expect the unexpected.
What a guy to have, by the way, that can do pretty much anything for you. He's great on man down opportunities. He can play a little shorty. And oh, by the way, here's a pole. Go out there and play face-off wing. He can do that too.
I feel like that's every shorty's dream, is for the coach to give you a pole and say, go have fun out there.
Well, we were talking before the game, and I asked you, had you ever had a pole? And you said you begged for it. It just never came.
No. David Gonzalez, he's a big-time watcher of Maryland lacrosse. If he's watching, I asked him a couple of times. He never bought for it.
So the Terrapins just going to run this out. This is a Richmond team that has given Maryland some trouble. Never beaten the Terps, but it was always close. Today, just not the case. A dominant performance for Maryland. A statement from last year's national runners-up. They take it 12-7.
Excellent stuff all around from this Maryland team, from offensively looking fluid. Despite a lot of transfers on this team, those transfers were so impactful in this game. Great day for Matthew Keegan. You get Bryce Ford involved heavily early, and this defense was lights out. I know the fourth quarter you give up 5 goals, and that skews the number a little bit, but things were so good defensively.
Next Big Ten Plus broadcast, what might be the game of the year if Maryland keeps playing like this. It's Syracuse and the Terps, and it will be right here on Big Ten Plus. I can't wait for that one. I know you can't either.